The battle now over same-sex marriage in Pennsylvania. As we have been telling you, any day now a federal judge could decide the future of the state's ban. But today in federal court, a judge heard a different case about couples married in other states. 8 on Your Side government reporter Pete Montine was in Philadelphia.
Cara Palladino and Isabel Barker have been together 16 years and got married in Massachusetts. They are at the center of a case heard in federal court in Philadelphia today that would make the state recognize their out-of-state license.
Some things that married couples take for granted, like inheriting each other's benefits and inheriting each other's property, would just be a given.
All of these cases are important.
Mary Catherine Roper is an attorney with the American Civil Liberties Union. Last year's U.S. Supreme Court ruling striking down the Defense of Marriage Act cleared the way for the ACLU to make its own different case. That same-sex couples should be allowed to marry in Pennsylvania. That case is also in federal court.
We very deliberately made our case as all-encompassing as possible.
And even though the ACLU says its case has a broader reach, its attorneys think it's not in competition with what's being argued here in federal court.
All these cases are going to the same thing. No one's in each other's way.
A January News 8 Franklin and Marshall College poll says 56% of Pennsylvanians support same-sex marriage. Roper says regardless of which case moves forward, a judge must make a decision.
And Janelle, the federal judge John Jones's ruling details the way that 11 same-sex couples and a widow argued that the same-sex marriage ban violated their rights when it came to taxes, the custody of their children, even feeling like their relationships were less respected than straight couples. Jones ruled that same-sex marriages can start right away in Pennsylvania, and any couple married in legal ceremonies outside of Pennsylvania will be recognized as married here. He also compared this case to the landmark Brown v. Board of Education case that was decided in the Supreme Court that ended racial discrimination in schools. In 60 years since Brown was decided, he wrote, separate has thankfully faded into history and only equal remains. Similarly, in future generations, the label same-sex will be abandoned to be replaced simply by marriage. Now, the state had argued that the same-sex ban did not harm same-sex couples, but the judge disagreed. We have yet to hear reaction from Governor Corbett, who said he supports the same-sex ban and if he plans to appeal this.
Saying the law belongs in the ash heap of history, a judge strikes down Pennsylvania's same-sex marriage ban. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kim Lemon.
And I'm Ron Martin. Pennsylvania is now the 19th state that allows same-sex couples to marry.
News 8's Chris Hush was with a same-sex couple when the decision came down. He joins us live from the Capitol, where the ACLU is holding a rally. Chris?
Here, Ron and Kim, that rally just getting underway right now. More than 100 people expected here in that crowd. Couples who have actually married in other states where same-sex marriage had already been legalized, and I spoke to some of them today. One of them tells me that they finally feel welcome in their own home state.
What's going on? I haven't heard anything.
After waiting years.
God, I feel like my heart is pounding out of my chest.
Then minutes.
Judge Jones just struck down PA DOMA. Victory for freedom.
Dave Kern and his husband Joe's marriage is being recognized by their home state. In March, they were married in Maryland, where same-sex marriage has been legal, but both Dave and Joe say this is their final stamp of approval. Now that they're legally allowed, they plan to apply for a marriage license right here in Pennsylvania. Something they thought would take many more years.
We're all flesh and blood. We're all human. And so to be equal and free, you know, that's what this country is about. So.
And Dave and Joe add to that, they say that they are happy that state lines will no longer determine the legality of their love. Dave also adding for the first time he feels proud to be an American. As far as this rally goes, they expect to be here for about the next half hour to an hour here on the Capitol steps. We'll send it back to you.
All right,
Ron
News 8's Chris Hush live tonight. Thank you, Chris.
Is opposition to today's ruling, including the Pennsylvania Family Institute and the Catholic Church.
News 8's Jim Sikovits continues our live team coverage in Harrisburg. And Jim.
Ron, the Pennsylvania Family Institute is urging the state to appeal today's decision by the federal judge, saying it cast aside the will of the people of Pennsylvania and their elected representatives.
Not surprised, but disappointed, of course.
Pennsylvania Family Institute Chief Counsel Randall Wenger said we all want a civil, loving, and understanding society, but he said he doesn't think we get there with a one-judge opinion. Wenger said the ruling threatens the rights of those who believe marriage is between a man and a woman, and that citizens should be free to debate and decide issues of critical social importance.
It short-circuits the democratic process. I think it short-circuits the debate that's necessary if we are going to either retain or reject an institution with this kind of duration. That happens best by the people of Pennsylvania considering it, not a single judge.
A spokesman for the Pennsylvania Catholic Conference, which represents 3 million Catholics statewide, said the ruling by one federal judge speaks to the confusion and misunderstanding among many today about the fundamental building block of society, the family. Every child, he said, had the basic right to a mother and a father united in marriage as a family, and that the decision does not change that. Opponents are asking the governor to appeal the court decision.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kim Lemon.
And I'm Ron Martin. News 8 was there as these same-sex couples were among the first in the state to apply for a marriage license. And those licenses will stand now that the governor says he will not appeal the ruling.
News 8's Susan Shapiro joins us live with more on Corbett's decision. Susan?
Kim and Ron, the governor's statement, 1 page, 4 paragraphs, came out late this afternoon. It indicates he will not appeal Judge John Jones's ruling declaring the state's ban on same-sex marriage unconstitutional. And that means a higher court will not reinstate the ban. The governor said the case is extremely unlikely to succeed on appeal. But he did acknowledge same-sex marriage goes against his beliefs as a Roman Catholic.
Wait for something and then I guess you have like expectations.
Dan Potts has waited years.
It's better than I thought it would be.
Same-sex marriage is now legal in his home state, and he and his partner Nate Lewandowski have the paperwork to prove it. They are the first same-sex couple in Lancaster County to get a marriage license.
It's not, I don't think it's totally sunk in. It's very surreal.
After 8 years of dating, one day has changed their lives. Now they have 3 days to plan a wedding.
Yeah, it's gonna be very busy.
We're open to ideas if you have.
Short notice to get into this long-standing church. The Unitarian Universalist Church of Lancaster is offering free weddings to same-sex couples this Saturday. They normally charge about $1,000.
Throw open the doors. Just be open and be a sacred space for people, that they can know that our church welcomes them and loves them for who they are.
The Reverend takes this walk down the aisle very seriously, though. She will counsel each couple before the service. The actual ceremony will last about a half an hour, complete with music, and the church is even offering a free wedding coordinator.
We believe that the heart knows no boundaries, and that when that heart finds the right heart, that's the marriage that needs to happen.
We just knew.
But because it's happening so soon, Dan and Nate have a lot to think about, from invitations, the church seats 250 people, to vows.
I guess I don't even, do people usually write their own now, I guess?
No matter what they choose, it's sure to be one of a kind, especially in this state.
So once it's signed by the pastor and once it's filed, then I think it'll really feel real. We might even frame it, actually.
In Lancaster, Caitlin Smith, News 8.
And it could wind up being profitable for businesses that help plan weddings. News 8's Cumberland County reporter Matt Barcaro spoke with several businesses that are ready to cash in.
I love seeing the smile on people's faces, just creating something that's going to make their day more special.
And Amanda Irway has helped create a lot of special days for brides and grooms. But now that same-sex couples can marry in Pennsylvania, the flower shop where she works, Blooms by Vickery in Camp Hill, could bloom with new business.
We're definitely going to be researching more and being able to approach those customers as well.
The flower shop has designed arrangements for a same-sex couple's wedding in Maryland, but it's excited to decorate same-sex weddings in its own backyard.
It'll be wonderful seeing more weddings coming in throughout the summer and seeing more couples in love and ready to celebrate that love together with their families.
And it's not just the flowers. Brides and grooms have to rent chairs and tables and venues and limos. The first year same-sex marriage was legal in New York State, their marriages brought in $260 million in economic activity. And those in the wedding planning business in the Susquehanna Valley are expecting their first same-sex couples to call in very soon.
No, I think we'll see it within the next 7 days, though. I really do believe that, yes.